They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they watch you.
Watch out for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Welcome to Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am Hawasani Garba, your host for today. It is another season to celebrate Nigerian children in the annual Children's Day, marked on the 27th of May every year. The hope of our nation rests on the shoulders of our younger generation, and that is why it is important they are molded and mentored to grow up well and even do better than us. Today on the program, we shall be looking at the values necessary for the well-being of the Nigerian child and how the adults in their lives should mentor them for the better. But first, let us join Joy Aja for anti-corruption stories. Stay with us.
Hello viewers, thank you for joining us. I am Joy Aja with Anti-Corruption Stories. ICPC has called on the media, especially in Anambra State, to collaborate with it in the fight against corruption. The resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Anambra State Office, Mr. Godwin Oche, made the call at the May Congress of the Nigerian Union of Journalists held in Awka recently. Mr. Oche, who was represented at the Congress by a staff of the State Office, Inalego Shaibu, maintained that public sector corruption was the bane of development in Nigeria, which cannot be confronted without the media. He acknowledged that the media, as a critical stakeholder in the society, has a major role to play in the battle against corruption, as it can report and expose corrupt practices when it happens, as well as educate the citizenry on or against the menace. The chairman of NUJ, Anambra State Council, Comrade Odogu Emeka Odogu, assured the Commission of the journalists' commitment to the fight against corruption, adding that the media would not hesitate to expose corrupt practices in the states. Odogu, who was represented by his deputy, Comrade Ngozi Obileri, commended ICPC for striving to rid the nation and Anambra State in particular of corruption. In another development, ICPC has secured a 7-year conviction of 2 fraudsters, Aso Adasa Morrison and Frank Bayo Barakuma. The convicts were first arraigned sometime in March 2013 before Honorable Justice B.A. Judgewell of Rivers State High Court 16 on a 17-count charge bordering on conspiracy, forgery, and obtaining by false pretense. The court was informed of how the convicts and others at large between the months of March 2012 and February 2013 in Port Harcourt fraudulently obtained the sum of $260,000 and $402,000 from one Mr. Jong Yo-min, a South Korean, under the pretext of selling Nigerian crude oil to him. Their actions were contrary to Sections 1 and 8 of the Advance Fee Fraud and Other Related Offences Act 2004 and Section 467 of the Criminal Code Act 2004. The convicts had earlier entered a not guilty plea when the charges were brought before them, and that set the tune for a long legal battle. Handing down judgment, Justice Amadi sentenced the duo to 3 years in prison for counts 1 to 4, 7 years in prison for counts 5 and 6, and 3 years for counts 7 to 17, without an option of fine. The sentences are to run concurrently. The court further advised that the South Korean embassy be informed of the judgment, which is a consequence of their petition to ICPC. That will be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues with Hawa. Please stay with us.
You are watching Corruption Must Go. ICPC has been doing a lot in the area of sensitizing and mobilizing the young ones for the fight against corruption. The Commission is passionate about ensuring that children are shaped with the right values. From the development of the National Values Curriculum, which is being taught in schools nationwide, to setting up anti-corruption clubs in over 3,000 schools across the nation and organizing debates, quizzes and other activities for them. Mr. Umfor Umor of the Public Enlightenment and Education Department tells us more about these activities. Take a listen.
The role children can play against corruption cannot be underestimated. In fact, any nation that toils with its youth is a nation that is headed towards the precipice. The youths are the backbone of every society. If you cast your mind back to ancient society, if the community wants to do anything, it is the youth that they summons. So we cannot, and majority of these youths do not know their left from their right. So there is need for them to be brought together in the fight against corruption, mentor them, try to show them the difference between what is bad and what is right, and help them to stick to it. Yes, having identified the youth to be the backbone of the fight against corruption, the Commission needed to provide platforms for them to excel, because most of them cannot come out to engage in the fight against corruption on their own. So to make it easier for them, there was need for Commission to create platforms for them to ventilate their views in the fight against corruption. And one of these platforms is the establishment of student anti-corruption clubs in secondary schools. It has helped them a lot, because quite a number of them have learned a lot from this club. When we go to sensitize them, we mentor them We also train their teachers on how to handle them in this club, even after we might have gone. All this went a long way to help them in shaping their attitudes. Yes, so many of these youth have distinguished themselves so far in various ways. From the documentaries we got from Step Up Nigeria, we have seen how these young ones have been able to run away from what is bad. In Alima's documentaries, Alima and Friends, produced by Step Up Nigeria, we have seen how one of the girls prevented the brother from stealing her mother's money. When she was asked why she did not support the brother to steal the mother's money, she said that what she learned from Integrity Club will not allow her to do that. So this shows that this establishment of this club has really impacted on this. There's another documentary, Toyin's story. Toyin was also a member of Integrity Club. She graduated from school and became a journalist. When she was bribed to report a story negatively, she rejected the money. So all this documentary go to show that these children really learn a lot from Integrity Clubs, and we are going to sustain that tempo.
Thank you so much. Now, finally, as we celebrate Children's Day, we would like you to give children at home some advice.
Yes, we will continue to appeal to the children not to relent in their efforts in doing what is good. We know when they read in the newspapers, there are a lot of negativities. When they tune their TVs, what they hear about corruption isn't pleasant at all. They will continue appealing to them not to allow that to disturb them in any way. They should continue to distinguish themselves by sustaining their integrity at all times.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
So, as a teacher, you know you are a role model, so you will be involved in teaching the children the right values that it will inculcate in them, so that when they grow, they will not have right living.
Corruption is the cancer that has eaten up into this country, that has left us at the level where we're at right now. We're unable to make any progress in any area of our lives because it has truly eaten deep, you know. And corruption may not necessarily be, you know, you're saying the government. Corruption takes place at home. Corruption, they give you something to share with your sibling, and then you wait, and then you hoard it, and you say it was only given to me. You don't share. It's corruption, you know. But then, as children whose minds are still tender, it's a lot easier to train them as they grow on a daily basis, you know, by expressing to them those things that are right and those things that are wrong, and what it may possibly lead to if they choose to, you know, tread that path. So it's very key that, and in teaching, I'm not saying say it verbally. Let the children be able to see that I'm living it too, you know.
If the teacher does not take his or her role, the children or the parents turn out to be anything in the society, in the church, anywhere. They turn out to be corrupt, and this is what we are fighting. In fact, we are struggling with in our nation, Nigeria. So as a teacher, we have to stand on our feet, stamp our feet on the ground, and be the best ever. Because the teacher is what the child turns out to look up to, and turn out to be better than the teacher himself or herself.
still watching Corruption Must Go. Speaking to some students recently in Abuja during one of the Commission's sensitization programs, the students were enlightened on how they can join the anti-corruption fight by identifying and speaking against corruption.
The Nigerian government, through the ICPC, came up in 2020 with what is called the National Ethics and Integrity Policy. This National Ethics and Integrity Policy has 7 core values. The purpose of this policy is to teach Nigerians, encourage Nigerians to respect themselves, respect their country, and treat every person in their country and their country with respect. It is how you respect yourself that a foreigner will respect you. If you say your country is a useless country, a foreigner will go with that impression that if you can say your country is a useless country, he can do anything to your country.
One thing we all know and love about children is their enthusiasm and energy, especially in trying out new things. We spoke to a cross-section of children and they had this to say.
I think the Nigerian children should learn to instill transparency within themselves. As to fight corruption, we all need to be transparent. Transparency will help us all in this world because there's nothing wrong with being an open book. If you are transparent, you can always live life carefree without any worries or problems. Many children that are transparent tend to live life on a luxury and enjoy it.
From my perspective, I would advise them to be transparent, honesty, with integrity. In all their ways, they should be transparent and fair so us to have a better Nigeria, for us to be the future leaders of Nigeria.
One of the most important things that we need to have is just honesty and integrity. That should be something that every Nigerian child, every child in general should be able to just have in their hearts. And also to know that all hard work doesn't go unmarked. Everything you do always has a reward or a consequence. Everything that you do, whether little or big, always has a way of coming back to you in the long run.
The values I think Nigerian children should imbibe. These children, they are good morals, integrity, contentment, and also honesty. Because we all know we are fighting against corruption, and without this value, there is no way you can join in the fight against corruption. So even as we fight, we have to imbibe these values. We have to be able to inculcate to other children these good morals, like integrity and contentment, honesty, and always doing the right thing even when nobody is watching you, so that we can all be good future leaders. Thank you.
It is of utmost importance that we ensure that our children are cared for, provided for, and given an opportunity to develop to their greatest potential. Like the good book says, if we train them up the way they should go, when they grow up, they will not depart from it. That's our package on today's edition. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms showing on the screen. You can call any of our toll-free numbers showing on your screen. See you again next week for another engaging episode of Corruption Must Go. Bye for now.